Well, most of you probably have watched Georgia football play for a long time, but most of you probably haven't charted their performance against Vegas main metrics every game for the past 15 years. You probably haven't done that, but we have. And because of that, we can reveal to you an easy way to win 90% of the time in Vegas. To win 90% of the time. Well, not all the time, only when Georgia's playing. But we can give you that much. So if you want to win 90% against Georgia, you want to win 90% of the time in Georgia games, if that's enough to get your parlays in order, stick around and we'll show you the formula and we'll all just make a little money. Many of you have watched our videos where we documented the saga of Mike Bobo coming to Georgia and watched how their numbers steadily fell and fell. And the indications are from past history that this continues. So that is kind of the basis for this 90%. We were talking about it because we wanted to win games and win titles like most fans do. But the problems at Georgia that caused Mike Bobo, the situation at Georgia where Mike Bobo is the coordinator, seems to be entrenched. It's not going anywhere. So the only other option is to profit from it. It doesn't matter why that situation is the way it is. It doesn't matter. But how many of you don't want a little extra money? I mean, have you seen what's happening in Washington? I think everybody would like to have a little extra money. And if you already bet anyway, that's kind of what we're talking to today. I'm not trying to induce you to bet. However, 90% is 90%. We're going to go into some details as to how we came up with the specific bets, and we'll detail the process a little bit, but we're going to actually, in this video, give you tentative results on all the games. It's that predictable. We can pretty much tell you the score. We've all seen how NBA players bet against themselves. There's a baseball player for the Cleveland Indians who was supposedly grooving pitches. So we can't just act like it's not going to bleed into college. We're not here to cry about it. The world is the way it is. But money is still money, and I'm still believing that you might want some, just like the rest of us. And we're going to show you how to get your share. And you might want to save this video. You don't actually have to listen to me. You could just go right to the end where I give you the nitty-gritty and just save this video for a reference, and you'll win 90% when Georgia's involved. Whatever else I might give you, c'est la vie. Are we like handicappers as a profession? No. I hate betting. But my research that I spent 15 years on showed me a way you can at least win on Georgia games with a certain coach, and that certain coach ain't going nowhere. Now, one of the more consistent things about Mike Bobo coach teams is they do not score in the first half. Not very much. And you can count on that. So as you're going through the season, pay attention to the first half scores. And generally, it's going to tell you how the rest of the game's going to go. Basically, doing very little in the first half almost guarantees you to win the prop bet. Almost guarantees you won't cover the spread. And the only thing left to worry about is the over-under. For example, in the Austin Pie and Charlotte games, the over-under might be something like 55-48. You know, the other team probably doesn't hit the scoreboard too much, and you'll notice that we just kind of take it easy on them. And so take a look at that score at the end of the game. You're probably going to see that you add the two scores together, and it's going to be below the under, and they won't cover the spread because those are large spreads. But on the gimme games, I would just focus on the under, and maybe some prop bets. But they might want to get some stats in those kind of games. But you know, you can play it smart. But there will be in a play to catch the under. They did it every time this Bobo was here. So you're going to see the first half kind of slow. We don't score a lot, and that's pretty much going to set everything up. The first real game is Tennessee. And Tennessee has got the game at home, and that's going to be the real test. And that one could be a game that Georgia might struggle to even win. So that one certainly would be, they're not going to cover the spread in that game. And whatever the over-under is, it'll probably be under, because even Tennessee is not that good at offense, even though Josh Heupel likes to make people think that they're explosive. They're not. So that one's going to catch the under. So now you're 3-0, and you pretty much won all the prop bets. You might have missed the spread on the Charlotte Austin Pie, so just back off on that one. And now you're at week 3, and you're undefeated. And it gets better. Now, for those of you who have stayed this far, thank you so much. The intent of this video is to give you some value, money, based on the information that I've been, in my circumstances, are unique and allow me to find this data. I will say that everything I said is backed up. I said I had receipts, I had paper, a very simple method. Starting in 2023, I would get the Vegas stat lines, over, under, the spread, and I checked the, say, the five top prop bets on Georgia. End of the game, I would compare, write down the results, and I posted these summations on my Facebook. I posted these on my Facebook channel. They're available as documentation, and it's on my website. I've got the receipts for every game. You can't Google that. There's no way you're going to go Google a game 2 years ago and find out what the spread is to say I'm a liar. I did it every week and documented it, and that's the basis for my 90% betting against Georgia proclamation, because it has been successful through Bobo times and, Mark Richt Bobo times and the current Bobo. But since 2023, I took on the responsibility of absolutely documenting it, and it's held up at a 90% rate. So that is what it is. I am tired of talking about it. That should have been a red flag to anybody that's a Georgia fan, and it should have made you upset. And it did. You didn't like the channel, and I'm the bearer of bad news. I come down from the mountain with the tablets, and you don't like them. Sorry, let's make some money. Forget all that. You can't have faith in the Georgia program when they've done what they've been doing. And they've lost my trust. I don't trust them. They shouldn't be trusted. They are being untrustworthy. Those are harsh charges. Well, prove me wrong. To the point that I've decided I will no longer be doing any videos about the Georgia program, and therefore most likely won't be doing any about college football either, unless I get really excited, and it's not likely. But I did want anyone who had paid any attention to this project, I wanted to repay them. Now, I got a friend of mine who's an executive, retired executive, I would say, based on the way his patio is decorated, 7 figures easy, very wealthy guy, and we hang out sometimes. And he was telling me that he drops about 50 grand every year on college football just to make it interesting. He's a Tech fan. What else is he going to do? So he drops 50 grand to make the game interesting. It's peanuts to him. But he tells me that he breaks even. He doesn't make a lot, and he doesn't lose a lot. It basically breaks even, so he just does it to make the games more interesting. When I gave him what I'm giving you, in 2023, he was given this information. He was hesitant to use it, but finally did. And with a $50,000 investment, his success was phenomenal. And the next year, of course, he dropped the whole bag. He may have dropped more. A sure thing in Vegas is very hard to find, and when you've got one, you have to write it. And so, right now, betting against Georgia is the nearest thing to a sure thing that I can give you, because it's 90% accurate. Has been. Your only danger is that he might get fired, and then all bets are off, as it were. It's a Bobo thing only. It's exclusive to the arrangement that Georgia has. What does it say about the school? I have no idea. And I doubt that I really care much anymore about it. I'm going to give you the stats. I intend to make this as long as necessary so you can keep it on file. You'll be able to see the games and a little quick summation of, I won't always know right now here in July what those numbers are going to be. But the dynamics and the general tone of the game, we're going to walk through that. And I'm doing that at the end because most people may not care. I could just give you the results. I already did that. You're 3-0 against Tennessee. We'll pull the schedule out and go through it and just go quick like. I'm not going to go into details about quarterbacks and all that. But I will tell you right now, those are going to factor in because we have 5 opponents that are going to have good quarterbacks, and our defense will be untested. And so we might be behind in the third quarter quite a bit. And when Mike Bobo's teams are way behind in the second half, they very seldom come back. They just don't. You remember the Notre Dame game, don't you? So I could stop right here and just give you the formula. It's a 1-sentence formula. I'm not going to do that because YouTube says you got to stretch that to the end. Well, I'm not going to give you the formula right now. It's a very simple. You don't have to even watch the rest of this video if you saw what I could say in 2 minutes. But you watch enough YouTube people stretch it out, so let me do it one time. Because it's not just a formula. The formula should already be obvious to you. I'm just recapping what you probably already know. You've seen the formula. I told you I tracked their performance, betting against them every stinking game for the last 3 years, or 2 years, coming up 3, ever since Bobo came back. That's like 28 games, I would imagine. 90% of the time, had you simply bet against Georgia in every way possible, you would have won 90% of the time. That's the formula. How much more formula do you need? But I was going to give you some tweaks so you can make it 100%. And my friend, of course, makes 100%. He doesn't waste any money now. His $50,000 bag, if that's still what he's working with, he doesn't lose, ever, with my method. I want all of you to be as successful as he. But this man throws a lot of money at it, but he has a lot of money. No one should go, wow, but if you're going to bet anyway, let me show you the little formula that you will go 100%, not 90. Well, there you have it. I told you what I know. I told you as plainly as I know how to tell you. I told you I would show you the scores and talk about some of these games, but you can see as they roll across the screen, there are some games that Georgia could have some problems with. Even if they had an offense that was clicking well, this team might struggle. Who knows how anybody's team is going to go in today's world. No reason to feel optimistic, but there should be no reason to feel pessimistic because all the things that made Georgia a championship program are still available. But you get that nagging feeling that these numbers are not going to change anytime soon. So go ahead and cash in. That's really the point. Make you some money. Your team's not going to flourish. Doesn't appear. Not being a negative person. It's just facing reality. And there's a lot to say about that, and it makes me not enjoy the sport or the program any longer. So certainly can't make videos about it. And I hope this was good enough for you. And I wish it was a different story, for sure.